Hello and welcome to Channel Android's new show, Behind the Green, where we interview movers and shakers in the Android community. And today we're fortunate enough to have a very popular developer, one of the most popular games on Android, both free and paid. We have Jean-Francois Jeline. He is a developer of Pew Pew and Pew Pew 2. Thanks for joining us, Jean-Francois.
Thanks for inviting me.
And although it might look from the background like we're in the same room, Jean-Francois is actually joining us from France, and I'm in California. So thanks for getting up way early and joining us.
No problem, no problem.
So, like I mentioned, your games are Pew Pew and Pew Pew 2, and we were talking a little bit before the interview, and you were a student, and you said you just finished up with school. What did you finish up your degree in?
Well, it's not going to be a big surprise, but I was doing some computer science stuff, and I just finished. And while I was doing my master's, I worked on Pew Pew for several years, and I finished at Pew Pew almost at the same time I finished my master's, and so now I'm earning some money, and I'm hoping to continue working on Pew Pew and other mobile games to earn some money and live off it.
Nice. Well, now, are a lot of computer science majors programmers as well, or is this an interest that you took up?
Well, yeah. To study computer science, you have to learn to program. But not everybody knows how to do a mobile application. But it's something I took up. I started by myself, studying programming in high school, and during my master's, I started learning how to do a mobile application, and that's how I started by myself.
Now, Pew Pew was your very first app, your first game, and you first released it for iOS, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And there it is. And how was the transition from introducing it to iOS to introducing it to Android?
Well, I designed the application to be easily adaptable from one platform to another. I started programming it on Linux. Then I brought it to macOS 10, and then I bought an iPod, so I brought it to the iOS. So all this made the program easily adaptable to new platforms. So it wasn't really hard to bring it to Android, and it took me 2 months because there's lots of little details to make sure it runs well on all the different types of phones. Some don't handle the multi-touch perfectly, you know, so you have to handle that kind of stuff. But otherwise, it was pretty quick because iOS and Android both handle OpenGL very well. So OpenGL being the core of the game, it was pretty quick.
So I got to ask, what phone do you use daily? What's in your pocket when you go to school?
Okay. Recently, Sony Ericsson sent me an Xperia Play to port Pew Pew to their phone, and it's a great phone. Yeah.
So that became your daily phone?
Yeah. Because I play, obviously, and it's a great phone for players. Just the emulators, the Super NES emulators. I don't know how it's called. Yeah, but the emulators are great on this phone.
Yeah.
And I play with them a lot, so that's why it's my main phone.
I know anybody that plays any kind of game for a long period of time would love to have the PSP controllers.
Yeah,
right there.
It's really great.
Yeah, I saw on your that leads me to something I noticed about your game. I don't play a ton of games on a touchscreen because, like you mentioned, it's pretty hard on a touchscreen, and I haven't played a game that has as good implementation on the joysticks as your game has. And that was something that I always thought was a physical barrier, but obviously there must be some programming magic. talk about what you did to make your controls, at least the virtual joysticks, more responsive on glass. Is there a trick? Is there something that you had to fine tune?
I think it's not the joystick itself, but it's the gameplay that comes with it. There's no, I mean, a lot of game has a latency, have a latency between when you move the joystick and the players start to move. There's like an inertia, and Pew Pew doesn't have any of this. I think it's more of the gameplay that is adapted to the gameplay is made so that the ship shoots immediately in the right direction, moves immediately. There's immediate visual feedback, and I think that's what makes it more compelling.
You're right. Now that you spelled it out, it is that lag that makes it kind of unintuitive or makes you frustrated. It makes you push your thumb too far, and your thumb gets off the joystick, and it's not as rewarding experience controlling the on-screen joystick as Pew Pew games are. So now, did the use of vector graphics, did that help you? Does that help you more processing power available because you're not using, hand-drawn art?
Okay, so actually, I think that it increases the load of the GPU because there's
Really?
more. There's more transformation to be done. There's more points. Like for instance, the ship is made of like 30 points, for instance. While if it was just a picture, a sprite, it would be 4 points. Two triangles and 4 points. Now it's lined, so it's 20 lines. So it kind of uses the GPU in another matter. The GPU has to calculate a lot of points, but doesn't have to draw a lot of pixels because it's lines. And it turns out that on a lot of GPUs, the limit is drawing the pixel and not on Android. On Android, the limit is drawing the pixel and not transforming the coordinates. So on Android, it works really well. And the big advantage to having vector graphics is that it scales on screens perfectly. I mean, the graphics on the tablet are very crisp because they're vectors. That's a big plus.
Yeah, you didn't have to make a HD version of your game for tablets. It's just scaled right up, right? When I first started playing Pew Pew, if we can bring up my favorite old arcade game that this instantly reminded me of. I know people say, and you even said you're inspired by Geometry Wars, but my favorite arcade game, when that's where I used to play most of my games, was a stand-up Star Wars game where you had this control stick. Now, just humor me and tell me that this is why you made this game. I hear. Did you ever play this game growing up?
No, but I did play other old games that did use vector graphics. There was a Battle Girl that really inspired, but yeah, I love this graphic style, and it's not because of Geometry Wars. It's really because of the old games. Yeah.
I don't know if that was the first 3D game, but it was the first fun 3D game that I remember playing with the vector graphics and flying through the Death Star and blowing it up. But I was reading your blog, and you also mentioned you developed for Samsung's Bada operating system, which I thought was interesting. And my first thought was why, but then I saw that there was a contest. So obviously you're in a good position to win that contest because you already have a great game. Like you said, you already thought it ahead of time how to make it easily transferable to other OSs. So how did that go for you transferring to? I mean, is this a path that other developers can take? Can they, create a game and transfer it to all their OSs easily, or is there a lot of time investment on your part?
Well, you have to plan it from the start. You have to use technologies that is usable across all the OS. So that means OpenGL and C++. On Android, developers tend to use Java, and if they use Java, they're gonna have a hard time porting it to iOS and Bada. But if they from the start try to use C++ and OpenGL, it's going to be much easier to port it across all the platforms because those two technologies are available on almost all phones except famously Windows Phone 7. But yeah, if you think about it from the start, it's going to be much easier. On Bada, it was interesting because there was limitation that weren't really justified
Mm.
programming wise. So I had to work a bit around that, and
Are
there
you
was a
finished with
situation.
that? Did you that post was a while ago? Did you finish about it?
Yeah, I finished, but there's apparently they denied my application because I was linking to a page from the application that included Android and
Uh,
iOS version of the game. That's why they denied it. So I said, okay, I'll work on Bada later. For now, I'm going to focus on Android, and it was a good choice because Android is working really, really well now.
so you did something interesting, which I don't know if I've heard of too many other people doing. You know, most people when they make a game or an app, they decide between do I want to do a free app and rely on advertising, or do I want to do the paid app and not deal with the advertising side? But you did both, and in that way, I've seen some apps do. I have a light version and then I have a pay version, which in a way, even though Pew Pew One is very full featured and has ads, it is a light version that leads people to buy Pew Pew 2. At least when I played, you know, when I played Pew Pew to begin with, that made me want to buy Pew Pew 2. Was that a strategy from the get-go that, you know, I'm going to make a free one, get people to like it, enjoy it, and then they'll pay for Pew Pew 2, or is that something that happened just organically?
That was exactly the strategy. I was kind of like a drug dealer, you know. I'm trying to get people addicted with the free version, and then because they want more, they're gonna have to buy the second version, the sequel. So that strategy made me work very hard to make Pew Pew 1 as addictive as possible, the best game I could do. And then when I was finished with Pew Pew 1, I started working on Pew Pew 2, and I had to thought of new things to make it even better. And so that's the idea was, yeah, to get people addicted to the game. More, people want more, and then they buy a Pew Pew 2. That was the idea.
Well, for people that haven't played Pew Pew 2 or either, the biggest difference to me right away was, you know, the Pew Pew 1 has great levels and great gameplay, but Pew Pew 2 has like a campaign mode where you actually play through the game like more like a console game, which is gives you a ton more content, and you're still working on it. You're still adding levels to it. I mean,
Yeah.
at what point do you say, okay, enough of PvP2, I gotta make a new game that people start buying again? Um, you know what? I don't know how you would manage that because on one end you want people to be hooked on the game, but at a certain point everybody owns it, and you got to make a new game if you want to make any more money.
Well, uh, my I tend to think like Blizzard. You know, Blizzard they do a game like Diablo 2, and then they update it. They keep it current
Mhm.
for years, like 10 years. They keep patching the game, making improving, because they want to build a reputation of doing very high quality game. So
Mhm.
that's why I will keep upgrading it for a while. The other reason is that well, you said that everybody's going to own Pew Pew 2. Well, I certainly hope it will be the case, but right now it's unfortunately not. And the market share, the Android phone are growing like crazy. I mean, there's 500,000 new phones activated every day. So there's a lot of new potential customers that haven't played Pew Pew 2. So that's why I'm trying a lot to push the game, to update it, and keep it in the top paid application because the market is growing. So my revenues is possibly going to increase. That's it.
Yeah, well, it's no secret that Android users buy less apps than iOS users, and if that's where the majority of the growth is coming from, then you definitely have to have a free option for them. And
Yeah, yeah.
I know of at least a few Android cheapskates that never buy apps that will break down and buy app once they've used a free version of it long enough that they just say, okay, I love it, I want the full-fledged version, and that seems like a great attitude. And yeah, obviously, if you grow a reputation, because to be honest, $2.99 is probably one of the higher prices for a game. So you really
That's
got to,
true.
sell people the fact that this is a supported game. They're going to keep getting additional content. When games start at 99 cents, you can tell them they're going to get 3 times more game for $2.99. Now,
Yeah, but
is it?
also with
Go ahead.
the price of $2.99, I know that I'm targeting a niche, a small category of gamer that wants the game and that are the games are that the hardcore gamer wants. There aren't many available on Android. That's why I'm putting it at $2.99.
Yeah. No, I don't think. I think it's a good price point. Like you said, you're not getting the casual gamers for 99 cents, but those guys are probably playing the free version anyway. And once you get your hooks in them, then you'll get the $2.99 out of them. Now, Apple has started offering in-app purchases. I'm not sure. Has Android started allowing in-app purchases also?
Well, I didn't follow this. I think they do, but it's complicated. I'm not sure about the situation on Android, so I'm sorry I can't answer.
Do you think game makers will start doing the mobile equivalent of DLC, where you'll pay 99 cents and get 5 more levels? Is that something that you considered for the future, or for different games? Maybe not this game, but maybe for free games where you can give all your games away for free and people can start buying levels.
Yeah, so on Android, the problem is that most people don't have a credit card associated to their account. So actually, one of the best way to monetize a free application is not to put in-app purchase, but is to put like advertisement or ask for the user to like fill out a survey or install another application. And once the user does that, it unlocks the rest of the application. That's one way to do it, and I think it's going to be a pretty popular way because it allows much more people to unlock the content, not only the people that have a credit card. So that's why I think
I hadn't really thought about that, but because I've always had a credit card on my Android phone, but that must be a big reason why Apple people will buy more apps. They automatically have a credit card linked to their iTunes.
Can I butt in for 1 second?
Yeah, go ahead, John.
I had a really good question about that. I've seen that in a lot of different games where you can download a different game, take a survey, and it'll unlock other portions of it where you would normally have to pay. Is there a better revenue source doing it that way over ads?
Well, those people that are saying those surveys, they're telling me that the revenue stream is great, but I don't have any first-hand experience, so I cannot compare.
Okay, thank you.
No.
All right, well.
But wait, I can maybe give you some numbers. I think you earn like 10 cents per user if they fill out a survey or the download application. So that should give you an idea of the amount of money.
What's the click? What do you get if someone clicks an ad? How many cents?
That I don't know. But it's
10 cents sounds pretty good though.
Yeah, it is. It's really good. It's really good because when you have 1 million users, like or more, like Pew, it can potentially be a big source of revenue. But the problem is that I'm not a big fan. I'm very lazy. I prefer to pay an application than to fill a survey, and that's why I didn't implement it in Pew. But maybe I'll change my mind because I have to make a living.
Yeah, but does that work out to like 100 grand? I mean, that's pretty substantial.
Yeah, it would be very substantial. But
so you have over a million users of Pew, or a million? Now you mentioned once the difference between downloads and users, which is dramatically different because a lot of people download a game and play it once and throw it away and install it.
Right.
What's the percentage of downloads that actually become like full-time users for you?
Well, the percentage kind of decreases over time because people, once they play the game for 3 months, they will uninstall it. So the percentage tends to decrease. But personally, I'm around like 23%. I mean, so there's like 2 million people that downloaded Pew, and there's only 23% of the there's 23% of those people
Okay.
that still have PewPew 1. And so that would be like for 460,000 users. So which is, I think, a pretty good rate for a free application, because the free applications, people tend to download it, try it, and remove it.
Does
So I
Google
think
give you
20%.
any statistics of what's average? Of what the average, retention
No,
rate is?
I don't know. No, no, they give you a lot of statistics, but not this one. But one interesting statistic is the rate for my paid application for PewPew 2. For the free application, there's 20% of people that keep it, and on the paid application, there's 100% of the people that keep it.
Wow.
And actually, it should be like 110%, because actually, what's happening, I guess, it's not that people pirate the game or illegally download it. It's people that install the game on multiple devices. They buy the game on their phone and they install it on their tablet. So that's why there's more. I have more active installations of PewPew 2 than I have of sales. So that's why they say 100% of installation.
Well, and of course, when Amazon gives away your game, you get you get more installations without downloads too.
But I don't think it's counted in the total. It's not. So.
Yeah. So have you seen any change in Amazon with their rumored tablet? I know they don't have the greatest reputation with developers because you guys were getting screwed out of getting paid, but I didn't say that, or you didn't say that. I said it. So
yeah.
Have you seen any movement with Android and their rumored tablet? Amazon?
Well, I've seen the rumors. I've read them. It would be a rumor based. The tablet would be based on Android 2.1 or 2.2. It would be a cheap tablet. But what interests me and other game developers is the hardware, the GPU, the touchscreen, and I haven't heard any information regarding this.
And just a big growth in user base would be good for you. Just if it adds a couple million Android tablet owners, that would that'd be nice.
That would be pretty cool, yeah. But I'm not really following what's happening on Amazon, because right now, so PewPew is on the Amazon App Store, but the revenues are ridiculous. It's like one downloads every day, one paid application every day, or something like that. I haven't checked in a while because the downloads were ridiculous. So for now, the Amazon App Store is really not of interest to me.
So it hasn't gotten any better since your last. I'm sorry, it hasn't gotten any better since your last blog post.
I haven't checked, but I don't think. I think it's there's really few people that are using the Amazon App Store. So yeah, that's why I'm saying
they only use it for the free app. They use it for the free app, and then they don't shop for anything else, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, great for them, not good for you guys. Especially since I don't think you can put an ad supported app for the free app of the day.
No. But the other thing that bothering me is because having multiple app stores increases the workload for the developers, because they have to upload all their application to all the app stores, update the description. I have to compile the game multiple times for every app store, because there's slight differences between the Amazon App Store and the Google Market. So it really increases. Having multiple app stores isn't always a great thing. It increases the work I have to do, and
yeah, it fragments the market. That doesn't make anyone's life easier, except for the people that are coming up with the new app store. So you mentioned the Amazon rumored tablet to be 2.1, 2.2. Is there, how backwards compatible are your games? What versions of Android will they play on?
Well, it's PewPew works on everything upwards from 2.1 to 2.2, 2.3. But there's a big difference between PewPew running on 2.1 and 2.2 and PewPew running on 2.3 and up, because 2.3 Android 2.3 introduced a lot of new features, and PewPew is exploiting them a lot. So there's really a lot of difference between 2.2 and 2.3. But PewPew will still work on older Android versions.
Do you have any interesting or funny stories to tell about a user coming back to you with problems on a lousy phone, on a Moto Click, or on a or some other piece of junk phone and getting on you?
Yeah, actually, I do. It's an exclusive because well, when you launch Pew Pew, it loads all the geometric shape, all the vertex shapes, and I display some bogus messages during the load. I don't remember. It says like derivating the nucleus of the photons. Constructing the CPU and saying a lot of stuff that really doesn't mean anything, and sometimes on bogus phones, the game crashes during the loading. So they're gonna tell me, the game was crashing during the game crashed while it was destroying the photons of the GPU. And they're giving me error message that doesn't mean anything, and I'm really laughing when I receive those mails, because and sometimes they ask me, I don't understand what that means. And I'm saying no, it doesn't mean anything. So that's really
so those are little Easter eggs that you put that most people wouldn't see because the game loads so fast. But when they're on a piece of junk phone and the load takes forever, they start reading these messages.
Yeah.
That's next game you should put in. If you can read this, you need a new phone. That should be your Easter egg message.
Yeah, like yeah, it's pretty fun. Like on the back of the cars, if you can read this, you're too close. Yeah, pretty fun.
Exactly. Now we're pretty much done with our interview. We like to play a game with our guests, but first I'll give you the opportunity. If there's anything, let's plug your blog in case anybody didn't see it. We'll bring up your address, and people that want to know more about developers, about the game, you post some interesting stuff on there. So there it is, and your games are available for iOS, for Android, for Bada coming soon, and not on the Amazon Marketplace. So anything else that you would like to mention for us?
I'd say if you're playing Pew Pew, keep checking for updates, because I'm gonna bring the new campaign that is gonna rock. And even if
don't uninstall it because you get bored because there's an update coming. That's what you're saying, right? Don't uninstall. You'll keep getting new stuff.
Even if you have Pew Pew 1, I'm gonna introduce a new game mode. It's oh, actually I could show it to you.
Wow.
Oh no, actually
exclusive.
I can't. Well, no, okay. I can't. Sorry, but it's gonna be based around it's gonna be a very retro mode. Like it's gonna be an asteroids, but made with the engine of Pew Pew. It's gonna be pretty crazy because it's gonna look really old school, and the gameplay is really fun. So
when's that coming?
I want to finish the third campaign before I introduce the new game mode. So I'd say it's September. I hope at the end of September I'll have a new Pew Pew 1 and new Pew Pew 2 that is ready.
How long does it take between the time that you? How long does it take between the time that you finish the game dealing with the app stores before you can release it to people?
Okay,
how long does that process take?
On the Apple App Stores, it takes a week, so it's awful. You know, you finish the game, you submit it, and you have to wait a week. And if you have forgot something, you have to wait another week because the update process takes a week. On Android, it's fantastic. It only takes 10 seconds. Basically, you upload your new application, and the update is immediately available. And so, if there's a bug, you can correct it immediately, provided you know how to correct it. Once I did like 5 updates in a day because I kept trying to, I kept correcting a bug and correcting bugs, and that's why I did 5 updates in a day.
So I imagine you spend a lot more time updating Android. 1, because it's easier, but probably 2, because you're dealing with so many different devices, you get more bugs, right?
Well. Again, it's a question of design. If you design it to handle different screen resolution, if you abstract from the hardware and the input devices, It's not so bad. The biggest problem is handling the early version of Android and the new version of Android that have new features. That's the biggest problem. It's not really the device. It's not the hardware. It's the software that is hard to.
And that
handle.
changed in what was it, 2.3? You said that change was? Or 2.2?
So it's basically, yeah, in 2.3, what you can do is build the whole application in C++, and you can use OpenSL. It's just to handle the sound. It's Open Sound Library. So I'm starting to use this to bring sound effects to Pew Pew. And of course, those sound effects will only be available to Android 2.3. That's the kind of change that are available in 2.3.
So I'm trying to look on here. Gerald, do you know off the top of your, do you remember the percentage of Android that has 2.3? What are we up to now? I wonder how.
Last I seen, it was something like a third of all Android devices are running 2.3, or just about a third, and it's on its way up.
Yeah. Does Google give you that information?
Yeah. Actually, I'm looking at right now statistics. Let me check. So among the people that bought Pew Pew 2, there's 27% of people have Android 2.3.3. So but some people have 2.3, some people have 3.0. So I'd say a third of people have Android 3.3. And
so Google. I mean, it sounds like Google's giving you statistics. They're giving you the install statistics. Who's keeping what? Can you compare? The developer kind of support information and statistics that Google gives you and the ones that Apple gives you?
Well. Yeah, it's going to be pretty quick to compare because Apple gives you nothing, and Apple's
really
and Google gives you
no information.
You have the number of downloads on Apple with Apple, and I think that's it. Yeah, that's it.
They won't even tell you if they've uninstalled it or anything. Wow.
No.
I think
they just do the number of downloads.
I think Gerald had a question. Apple and Android.
Yeah. As a developer developing for both, and if I remember correctly, you were developing for iOS first. What do you find a better platform? Take away all the politics, all the App Store BS. Just as a developer, as code, what do you find as a better platform to develop for?
Well, it depends. For games, it's iOS because the support for C++, the language that most game developers use, is better on iOS. But for a regular application, I mean, like Twitter or things that doesn't require performance. Android is better because Java is simpler. It's garbage collected. The errors are easy to find. So really, it depends on what kind of application you're talking about. It depends, like a lot of things.
Okay. So as a game developer, you find it easier to develop for the iOS.
Yeah.
Is there something you believe? For now, is there something you believe Google can do to help you guys out, help alleviate that? Because, I mean, that's a big problem I hear about among users and developers.
Yeah, actually, Google is working very hard. The changes it brought to Android 2.3 makes game development much easier. So I think that they will quickly arrive at the same level of support as Apple. Maybe it's going to take maybe a year, and they're going to go past Apple in the quality of the development tools. Because really, like a year ago or a year and a half ago, I don't think you could program in C++ at all, and for Android. And they brought it, and they keep adding new stuff, and the rate of improvement is really high on Android. On iOS, the SDK was. So the tools were good at the beginning, but they're not improving very fast. On Android, it's improving very, very fast. So I'm very confident in the future of Android for games.
That's good to hear. And I think one of the big advantages, I mean, people, we're not trying to be just fanboys here. One of the big advantages is the form factor choices that you have with Android, like the Xperia Play. You're never going to get a lot of choice in form factors if you want a bigger screen, you want hardware controls in an Apple device.
That's true, and
especially for
I'll
gamers.
add that some people are even putting Android in in airplanes and buses. So
Wow.
they're asking for developers to do games for them, or port their games to airplanes and buses, so that people can play while they're in the bus.
Wow.
So that's something that's not possible with closed platforms. That's something that's
Yeah.
only possible with Android. So that's pretty cool. That's awesome.
Well, Jean-Francois, you ready to play our game? What we like to do is we like to test the Android knowledge of our American wireless carrier salespeople. So the people at AT&T, Verizon, or Sprint that are selling you an Android phone, and they're the people that are supposed to help out users that don't know as much about Android as maybe the three of us. So we call a random store and we ask them how to do something rather simple on Android. So I'm going to recycle a question that we did on our test show just because I think it's a good question. So we're going to call, I just picked a random store. I picked an AT&T store in Reno, Nevada. Reno, Nevada is north of Las Vegas. It's a gambling town, but smaller than Las Vegas. So, and it should be open still for another hour. And I'm going to ask them how to get my Droid X into airplane mode. Okay, so there's two ways to do it. You can go to settings or just what was it that told me? Someone said you can do it from
The power
the power button. So you can either hold the power button, you go into settings and put it into airplane mode. So last time I was wrong. We've played this game before. I said that they would not, and they were able to. This was a Verizon store we called in Sacramento last time. So do you think if we call a salesperson at AT&T, they will know how to set my phone into airplane mode? Yes or no?
Wait. How big is it? Is the town? I need more information.
Reno is a relatively small tourist town. It's got maybe about 80,000 people, and most of the people that are in and out are tourists.
Okay, I'm trying to guess if old people working there or young people. You're saying no?
I haven't guessed yet. I said last time I said no and I was wrong. So
Okay. Well, I'll say yes.
Okay, you say yes. The Verizon rep in Sacramento that we called was very knowledgeable. She knew exactly how to do it. So, okay, you're gonna say yes. Gerald, what are you gonna say this time?
I'm gonna go just to be the devil's advocate. I'm gonna say no. Just
all right.
because.
Well, I got burned once, so I'm gonna say yes. No. Also, I'm gonna give a benefit of doubt. But people from Nevada are a little strange, so it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't know how. So I might go 0 for 2.
Hey, I worked for a cell phone store for a while. I've seen how undertrained a lot of those sales reps are.
Thank you for calling AT&T, where you'll find the best selection of smartphones, including iPhone, Android,
Let me see if
BlackBerry,
hitting 0
and
will get
Windows.
me to
The
service.
retail location is currently closed.
Oh,
If you'd like to know-
closed. I failed. I thought they'd be open until now. Let's see. Maybe it's too small a town. They're not open until 9. All right, let's find another location here.
Verizon Wireless Communications Store in Stockton. Our store is located at 6123 Pacific Avenue in Stockton. Please note that our options have changed. Please choose from one of the following 4 options. Opción 9 para asistencia compartida en español.
Can you guys hear everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is Champ. How can I help you?
Hi, Champ. I'm flying tomorrow, and I was wondering how do I put my Droid X into airplane mode?
Do you have it in front of you?
Yeah.
Okay, first hold the power button until it comes up a pop-up screen,
Okay.
and then it should say airplane mode.
Oh, all right. That was easy. Thanks.
Come on.
All right, bye. Well,
Even
Verizon
though-
is
Even though I lost this time, I feel better because
Better?
last week I was complaining that the person who gave us the answer gave us like 100 steps to go through settings and this, that, and the other thing.
It's like,
All they had to do is hit the power.
Settings, wireless. Yeah. This guy not only knew how to do it, but knew the quickest and most efficient way. I really wish we would have gotten through to an AT&T store. Next time we're definitely going to have to do AT&T or Sprint or T-Mobile to see if their reps are less well-trained than Verizon reps. So I'm feeling pretty good about my carrier of choice right now.
They're 2 for 2. Verizon is 2 for 2.
Yeah. Congratulations.
All right. Well, that's our show. I want to thank Jean-Francois. Thanks for giving us your time. And more importantly, thanks for adding a couple awesome games to the Android ecosystem. You know, everyone knows we need more good games, and sounds like we haven't heard the last from you. You're just going to keep improving things, and thanks for Gerald for coordinating the show behind the scenes and adding your input. All right, so for Channel Android, this is Behind the Green, and we'll see you next time.